welcome back. I'm Danielle, your resident romantic.
And I'm Lindsay, the fantasy fan, and we are friends
till the book ends. Today is a fun one. We're kind of collaborating on ideas, so I had the idea that we should take a couple of the books that we tried to read 3-4 years ago, and for whatever reason, did not finish them. We DNF'd them. I figured, why not torture ourselves, try to reread them, see if we can A, finish them, and B, if we actually liked them now that we can finish them. If we didn't, we'll see. Given the content that we're going to be talking about, we did not have favorable views of the books, and so I took Lindsay's idea of doing what we're going to call a Wine Wednesday. So we have our wine, we're going to whine about books. Because while we did finish them all successfully, we did not have great opinions about them. So join us as we whine about these atrocious books and let us know if you've read them, if you actually like them in the comments or not. Let's dive in. Lindsay, would you like to start?
Yeah. Firstly, I'd like to preface the elephant in the room. This is Abe Lincoln.
In case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know, my shirt says, that is so 7 years ago.
That's cute.
Yes, I got it in Gettysburg because I'm a history nerd. And my mom loves it, so we go on fun trips. Anyway, so the first book that I would like to whine about is My Sister, the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite.
I'm excited for this one because the way that you described it, it actually sounds interesting.
Right?
So I'm curious.
It's disappointing. So I'm also a true crime aficionado. My favorite murder, Chef's Kiss. Jensen Holes, Chef's Kiss. I read all of the stuff about the Golden State Killer. Jean Bonnet. Will we ever know? It was the brother. Probably not. But I love anything that has to do with like serial killers, true crime, anything like that. So when I heard about this book, I was like, fantastic. So essentially, in My Sister, the Serial Killer, we are following a girl named Coredy, something like that. A terrible at pronouncing names. The book is set in Nigeria, and so we're following Coredy. She's a nurse, and we follow up in the first scene as her sister calling her and saying, I did it again. And you're like, oops, I did it again. Okay, Brittany. So we find out that her sister has this really bad habit of accidentally murdering the men that she's dating.
As one does.
Relatable. We're following the sister's name, the serial killer sister's name. Her name is Ayula, and she is, like, beautiful, stunning, like, that's the only redeemable trait that she has. And so all the men in and around, where they live, they want to marry Ayula because she's like hot stuff, but they could care less about what's underneath the surface. And Coredy is really, really jealous of the fact that her sister's beautiful because she's just like normal. She's just normal. And she's also a nurse, so she's like the smart one, and she thinks that like, she should be the one that people are paying attention to. And so Coredy keeps helping Ayula clean up the messes, get rid of the bodies, etc., etc. Ayula becomes interested in the doctor at Coredy's work, who Coredy has a massive crush on. So she's now having to war between the idea of, like, do I turn my sister in because she might murder the guy that I low-key have been lusting over for, like, 3 years, or am I going to remain loyal to my family? And it sounds like an interesting concept, right?
Right. No.
There was no climax to this book. Like, it was so boring. Like, it was interesting, but it was just like this. There was no spike. There was nothing. There was no climactic scene. Like, nothing happened in the entire book.
So with a synopsis like that, literally, how can you write it without a climax? Like, did the author fall asleep and, like, not realize she missed a huge chunk of the book?
Apparently. And also, it doesn't help the book was very short. And, it's supposed to be a commentary on, women's worth in society, and whatnot. And it was interesting enough. I ended up giving it a 3 stars, so it's not the worst book I've ever read, but, like, would I have picked it up again if not for this video? No, absolutely not. It just was so boring, and, like, it was really frustrating how, Coredy tries to warn Dr. Tade, the guy that Ayula wants to stabby stab, and he basically is like, you're jealous of your sister because she's so pretty. She's like, I'm trying to tell you this motherfucker is a serial killer.
Oh, shit.
And the guy's like, you're just jealous, and everyone is so mean to her because they all think she's jealous of her sister. And the whole thing just, like, it kind of got on my nerves. I don't know. It was not the best book that I've ever read. I might read from the author again, but was so lackluster that I'm just like so meh about the whole thing.
But that's why you keep me around, to make you read books you don't like.
Yeah. What else would we do?
What else are friends for?
All right, Danielle, take it away.
All right, so the first book here I have is Love and Other Theories by Alexis Bass, or Bass. I apologize, I don't know how the last name is pronounced. The synopsis on the back kind of makes it sound interesting for a teenage read. So you have Aubrey. She and her girlfriends in high school have these theories on love, which on the back it tells you rule number 1 is don't fall in love. So it sounds like it's going to be a fun story about girlfriends, you know, sticking together, not falling in love. And then on the back it says, but in walks Nathan. So this is exciting. Someone who just wants to build their friendship and not care about boys in high school. And, you know, you can worry about that in college.
Right.
And then in walks this guy. Sounds like a fine enough setup for a teenage high school read. No. I gave this book a 1 out of 5.
Jesus.
The
so
lowest
low.
rating I've ever given a book. It is absolute trash. The only reason I read it was for this video. Otherwise, I would have DNF'd it again. But I felt like I didn't want to show up to this and DNF it again. Like, I felt like this was a challenge for me to finish.
Funny.
I know, but I like a challenge. So
Yes.
I felt like this was a challenge for me. And I was like, fine. I'll stick it to Lindsay. I'll read this, even though it was my idea.
I'll read this damn book.
It was awful. I'm going to try not to give spoilers. But you shouldn't read it anyway, so you don't need to worry about it being spoiled. It was so bad. Like, okay. I'm going to try not to use the official term because I don't want people offended, but in society, especially American society, if you are a woman who enjoys spending time in multiple men's beds, there is a proper term for that. You're shaming them for what they're doing. It's an S word. That's all I'm going to tell you. So this book does the reverse of that. Basically, they support you sleeping around and making out with a bunch of guys, and that if you're someone who wants to fall in love, shame on you. Like, you're a pathetic female in this society, and you are ruining the female image if you're crying over a guy. Like, literally, they mention that, like, 5 different times. They call it female points. You lose female points.
It sounds like this book was trying so hard to be feminist that it went radically anti-feminist.
Right. It was, like, absolutely absurd. And that wasn't even my biggest issue with the book. That was just one of the highlights of it. Another issue was that, basically, it's a group of 4 friends. There's Aubrey, there is Shelby, Melissa, and Danica. Basically, without spoiling it, all of the girlfriends backstabbing each other in relationships, even though it's supposed to be a pact so they don't backstab each other or get hurt. And by the end of the book, it was one of those endings where it was like, well, you just read 300 pages, but it doesn't matter. We're going off to college. Everything's resolved. Bye.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was.
Like yeah.
I was like, why
What was the point of that entire thing?
Right.
Yeah.
That was 376 pages that I just wasted on you for this video. Worth it. 2 other issues I had with it is that the point of the theories was for the girlfriends to not get hurt in relationships, because if you fall in love with someone, then you risk getting hurt. However, all of the damage that gets done to them throughout the book is because of these theories. If they would have just...
It's like self-inflicted.
Right, it's like self-sabotage. If you would have just dated like normal, you would have been fine. You probably would have gotten hurt a little bit, but not as much as you're hurting each other. The other thing is that the whole point of the book is that Aubrey falls in love with Nathan, even though, according to the theories, they're not supposed to. This is not a spoiler. You start to find it out in the first couple chapters. So, she's falling in love, but the author's not showing that. It's showing scenes where her and Nathan are making out.
Oh.
It's showing scenes where her and Nathan are talking about where they want to go to college, but there's nothing substantial to their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that
surface,
love? Like, that's not even love. And
Yeah.
yet you all sabotage each other anyway for this thing that is all I have for that one. 1 out of 5. I really don't recommend it. Please don't read it. Save yourself.
Okay, so the next book that I would like to chat about is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Young. And this is a book that I think everybody likes. Everybody loves it. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I didn't hear that much buzz about the sequel, but everybody loves this first book. Essentially, we're following this girl. Her name is Lay, and she is a member of the Paper Caste in society. And in this world, they are broken up into castes. So at the very bottom is like the people who are fully human. They are the paper caste because they're like delicate like paper. And then the middle class is the steel class, which is like a mix between like human traits and demonic traits. And then you have your moon caste, which is just like full-blown demons. And so the moon caste is ruling over the lands, and they are really mean to the paper cast because they can be, so why not? And there is a demon king. So every year this demon king takes 8 girls from the paper cast and essentially makes them his like sex slaves. It just felt weird as a YA book. That's like the first big problem I have with it, is that there were essentially these girls are being like raped continually throughout this book. It doesn't go into
YA
detail. Book? Yeah. That's the whole basis of it. And they are, you know, they don't have a choice. They get taken by people to become paper girls. And so they don't have a choice in it. And just, it felt very, like, dark for a YA book. We are following Lei as she gets taken away from her home and being forced to be with the Demon King, with the other girls. And you're seeing a friendship develop between her and the other girls, and specifically another girl named Ren. You're seeing a romantic relationship. So there is good LGBTQ plus rap in it. And I liked Lei and Ren together. I thought they were cute. But it just was a really frustrating book because you see, like, other girls. You're supposed to sympathize with them, the other paper girls, but some of them are just, like, downright nasty people.
Oh.
And they're, like, rude. And the one girl becomes, like, completely brainwashed and is like, I love the Demon King and he loves me. But, like, you know, they're 16, which is also kind of 16, 17, so
that makes it even weirder.
It is.
For a
it
YA.
just felt really weird and funky to me. This is a spoiler-free, but essentially there's like an underground resistance that's happening, and one of the girls is a part of it, and she brings Lei into it, and they're going to kill the Demon King. But something happens, like, kind of at the end of the book, very end of the book, that negates everything that the rest of the book worked for.
Oh my god.
So it was almost as if the whole rest of the book just didn't happen, and it was just setting up for the sequel, but it was so pointless and made the book completely pointless.
Jesus.
So I was like, why did I just read about, like, sexual assault and, like, the traumas that these poor girls went through to have it literally be for nothing?
Yeah.
Like,
those books are the worst.
Was frustrating. I don't know. I ended up giving this one, like, a 2.5 because it was, like, really easy to read. Like, I read the entire thing in a day. It's like a 350 page book. So it's not like it was short, but it was really a quick read, and I did like the camaraderie between the girls and between Lei and Ren. I really liked that, and I do like stories about resistance, but this one just felt so half-baked. It just didn't work for me, and the whole thing was so pointless, and it just was not a pleasant read, and I definitely won't be picking up the sequel. I have zero interest in it. And I probably would have DNF'd it again if not for this video. So
again, you're welcome.
That's where we're at.
All right, last one for me is 99 Days by Katie Cantugno. I gave the synopsis for this in the February TBR video that we just did. I said I didn't remember 100% what the synopsis was about. Turns out the synopsis I gave in the February TBR video was completely opposite. It's not at all what this was. I said it was like a guy, right, the neighbor moves away and comes back and now he's mature. Nope, that's not this at all. Nope.
Let's thinking of a completely different book.
I DNF'd it so hard I forgot what it was even about. So basically you have Molly. She is neighbors with Patrick, Julia, and Gabe. Those 3 are all siblings. Patrick and Julia are twins. Basically in sophomore year, Molly dates Patrick. Everything's going great. They go on a break. She sleeps with his brother Gabe. Not a spoiler. You find that out page 1. At first it was kept secret, and then her mom, who's an author, decided to write a fiction book about it.
She told her mom about it?
Yeah. You don't tell your mom about things. Anyway,
No.
so she was very distraught about it because her and Patrick got back together. And so...
Oh, so she was feeling guilty.
Right, so she was feeling guilty. Probably should have put that in there. So she ran to her mom about it. She was like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. Mom's like, honey, don't worry. Later on, Mom writes a book about it. Mom talks to one of the popular magazines, Cosmopolitan, whatever, something like that. And they're like, what inspired you to write this book? And she's like, well, it was actually my daughter's love triangle. So her mom's
a piece of shit. What the hell?
Her mom literally threw her under the bus.
Damn, she did.
Not only wrote a book about it, but admitted it to the entire world that she wrote it based on true stories from her daughter's...
Well, that's a stupid book.
That's not even the stupid part. This is the synopsis. But you're right, that was stupid. So, everything goes awful from there. This all happens between sophomore and junior year. She, Molly, moves over to a boarding school for her ability with running track for senior year. A, because it's a great opportunity. B, to escape all of the crap that is going down after her mom revealed, this is real, this happened. And she comes back for summer before college, and the whole point is she has to make it 99 days. Just 99 days, she can escape to college, she'll be fine. Julia, Patrick's twin sister, is of course very ticked off on everything that's happening. The first day that Molly comes back, Julia eggs the house.
Ooh, rough.
Yes. So, whole lot of crap storm going on there, but then also Patrick, who's supposed to be away for the summer, is not away. So you have Gabe, you have Patrick, you have Julia, and you have Molly. Gabe starts to show an interest in Molly in the beginning of the book, and she's like, can I do this? Can I not?
Is Gabe the older brother?
Gabe is the older brother. Sorry, I did not specify. The build-up of the book is supposed to be, does Molly go with Gabe? Is this really going to be a good option? How do I mend friendship with Julia? Do I mend everything with Patrick? Do I try and move on with Patrick? Should I try and date him? There's a lot going on that Molly has to figure out, or escape, for 99 days. It is trash. Do not read it. I gave this a 2 out of 5. A little bit better than the other one. But it was trash.
Not much, yeah.
Not much. The ending was the exact same way that the other one happened, where the entire build-up and point of the book was ruined. Pointless ending. The beginning and the ending were really lame. The beginning was super slow, which is why I DNF'd it the first time. When you get to the middle part, it is kind of fun. It's like those guilty pleasure shows like Housewives or something like that. It's like, all right, I'm going to read you just because there's drama going on. I need to see what's happening. Molly gets treated like crap from everyone. There's not a lot I can say without spoiling it. It is just crap. Please do not read it. Take my word for it. You don't know me well enough to do that, but please take my word for it. I can't whine about it anymore.
Those are some books that we whined about with you today. Don't read these.
Give us a like either if you enjoyed the idea of us torturing ourselves and trying to reread our books that we DNF, or also give it a like if you thought it was a cute idea to do a little Wine Wednesday. We might have more for you in the future.
Yes, we'll have to dig deep back into the DNF shelf, which was painful enough the first time, but we will do it again.
Don't worry, when I find books that I do not like, I will not hold back on my trashing.
So give us a like if you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in our next one. Bye!
Bye!